Hello and welcome to Pineapple Talk on Society Bites Radio. I'm Leah, the founder and president of Pineapple Support, a non-profit set up in 2018 for people working in the adult entertainment industry. Pineapple Support offers a free text service provided by trained volunteer listeners, as well as online therapy staffed by qualified counsellors, psychologists and psychotherapists.
Hi, and I'm Shelley, a psychotherapist who's been involved with Pineapple Support since its very conception.
If you'd like to find out more information about Pineapple Support, please visit the website pineapplesupport.org.
So we are now at our fourth part of a four-part series, and we've been focusing on relationships. All of our guests so far have had careers in the adult industry, so we've been keen to hear their thoughts and experiences of dating and being in a relationship, and just how they deal with demands of the work alongside their relationships. So we've had three amazing different segments from three different guests, well, four actually. But now we're going to focus in this part on a little bit of Leah and her relationships. So I'm going to be asking a few little soul-searching questions to her.
Probe away.
Slightly probing. And also we'll be talking about the last three sessions we've had, which was Callum and Cole, Andra and Christina Carter.
Yes.
So, Lynn, now you're on the hot seat.
I am, and you know me very, very well. Shelley and I have been friends for 4 years. Yeah.
And we've been working together for a while with Pineapple Support, and socially we know each other.
So I'm a little bit nervous about the questions that are going to come my way, but I'm ready and I'm an open book. So, yeah.
Okay, so just kicking off with, what do you look for in a partner?
Well, apparently I look for
what do you look
emotional unavailability.
Okay, I'm gonna just kind of stop you there. What do you look for?
What do I actually want? I want a man who is intelligent, passionate, funny, and caring. They're going to be my top four. I have to, looks are going to fade. Yeah, do you know what? You have to be physically attracted to somebody. At the end of the day, there's got to be this physical attraction there. But if you're talking about someone that's going to be a long-term partner, then those looks are going to fade. Whereas if someone can make you laugh and for the rest of your life and keep you interested in conversation, then that's way more important. And of course, kindness. And I tend to judge people a lot on how they treat staff in restaurants, for example. And I always know when I go on a first date with somebody, and it's like, do they open the door for me? Do they pull my chair out? Nah. Do they offer to pay? But also, it's like, do they how do they talk to the waiter in the restaurant? Because it's a very telling about a person.
So it's really important for you, and I really do actually hear that little verbal checklist, which I think lots of people do on the first date. Oh, are they doing this? Are they doing that? But it sounds for you as well, it's really important how they treat other people.
Yeah.
And you say it could be somebody being a waitress, being a bartender.
But that's eventually going to be you. If someone's rude to a waiter, that's eventually going to be you.
Well, it's how they treat people.
Yeah, it's people.
So how do they treat people? So
and then I have the little things like, for example, do you eat with your mouth closed? And do you put your knife and fork together at the end of the meal? Do you know which wine glass to drink out of? And that, but that is, these are my little oath. This is my OCD. But,
so I guess some things are the bigger things, and some things I guess perhaps are you willing?
You say they're the bigger things, but you know what those say, that you meet somebody and the things you find cute at the beginning are going to be the things that really piss you off in the end. And I know after 38 years of life that if I'm with somebody and they do something that's slightly irritating within the first couple of dates, that 6 months down the line, it's going to be really, really grating. So I think you get to a point, don't you? And you get to a certain age.
You get to a point.
Yeah, at a certain age, you have a number of relationships. And they're not just romantic ones, that any kind of relationship where you go, do you know what, this person is rude in the restaurant, or this person does this thing which is gonna.
So let me just kind of pull this in a little bit, just to make sure what I've heard correctly.
Okay.
Is kind of absolutely you want some physical attraction, although of course you're very much aware that will, looks will fade with time, but feel like a gut feeling to feel physically attracted to somebody. To look that they're kind and polite to other people, respect, I think, which was our last word we ended on in our last actual little talk on the radio. So respect, and then kind of go, making you laugh, very important, and then manners.
Intelligence, before that.
Oh, intelligence. Okay, so intelligence, but also what I heard very clearly was manners.
Yes.
And things like those little things which actually, as you say, can get bigger over time, or don't get bigger, but will not go away and great. So eating with their mouth full, not bringing their knife and fork together at the end of a meal, those sorts of things.
But these are things just specifically for me, because for me as a child, growing up with very strict German grandparents, was drummed into my head. I mean, I had to sit and eat my dinner with books on my head. And
you don't do that now, though, with your new relationships?
I mean, occasionally.
You're not asking them to put books on your
sometimes.
head?
No, their heads. And I judge them. And I give them marks out of 10. No, I don't at all. But no, I just, it part of my upbringing was.
Okay, so that's, again, so I guess as ever with relationships, it does go back to our upbringing, doesn't it? How were we at home? How were our early relationships?
I mean, so something that wasn't part of my young upbringing, for example, but from a teenager, when my mother started pointing out how much it irritated her when people drank their tea or coffee with the teaspoon still in the mug. Mm-hmm. This was something I'd never thought about before. But now she's pointed it out to me. Oh my God, it gets on my nerves. And
again, so I guess it's those things which you're kind of checking
yeah.
out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and currently, could you tell us your relationship status?
Okay, so I've discussed this with Andra, who was our second guest. My current relationship status is idiot.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Can I elaborate? So I went through after my last relationship, which ended up being a really aggressive, unpleasant one, and a lot of that had to do with me being in the industry and him being very, very jealous. I decided that I just didn't want to be with anyone, and that was not with anyone physically or emotionally or anything for quite a long time. But then, I am a very sexual person. I've been in the adult industry there's a reason that I was in the adult industry for a long time. I'm a very sexual person, and I thought, why are you doing this? Fuck it. You're a feminist, you're a liberal. I said just have fun. So I decided that I would just have lovers, and that worked out fairly well, except for there are, of course.
When you say lovers, what can you say?
I'm not someone who likes to have one night stands. But what I wanted was to have respectful sexual relationships with a small number of people that were regular. So, at my peak, I don't know. So I had 3 men. Okay. And all. I won't say respectful, maybe it's the one error. But it was regular. It was not. We weren't in a relationship. It was very clear boundaries at the beginning. But you will have read a lot as well. It is human nature that after you have had sex with somebody a number of times, the body releases certain chemicals, and those certain chemicals make your brain feel that you feel. Mm-hmm. So it is very hard for anyone to maintain a sexual relationship with somebody without feeling emotion.
So did that begin to get difficult for you?
And that began to get difficult for me. And so, yeah. and I think because I have a penchant for South American men, Latinos, that didn't help either.
So I guess on one hand, it sounds like what you're explaining is kind of having open relationships in a sense, but not maybe necessarily a relationship, but more an open sexual relationship.
Yeah, but there needs to be respect, and I think that at the end, I felt that there was a lack of respect. So, and also I think that I've recently I've recently uncovered, because of the relationships that I was having, that maybe after being single now for 4.5 years, I think I do want a relationship with the right person.
Okay.
So that's a big step after a long time.
That's quite a big thing, I think, to get to that realization, I think.
Yeah.
And for you to be acknowledging that.
But like for example, like Christina was saying, it's so important to have those boundaries and to wait for the right person, because it's okay, I want a relationship. I'm not going to just jump into a relationship with the next person that comes along. It has to be the right one. And until that moment, do you carry on having this open sexual relationship with people, or do you close off and just wait? What do you do?
So it really feels for you at this moment that you're kind of at that kind of, for you, you're sort of trying different ways, and actually at the moment you're at a place of kind of reconfiguring, whatever that word, however you would take that word, kind of reconfiguring where you might want to go next.
Yeah.
And be that perhaps looking for one relationship.
As humans, we evolve. As people, we evolve constantly. So you can't say, "Oh, this is what I wanted 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. So this is what I'm always going to want." No, you're always going to change, and I think that's something that's very, very important for us to consider about ourselves.
And I think that's the important thing, as you say, that it's about change and allowing ourselves to change. In terms of when we were thinking about talking to Christina there, for her, what she was recognising, 20 years ago, what she was seeking in relationships and how she was managing relationships was absolutely so different to where she is now. And it sounds like what you're talking about, actually, very clearly at the beginning of our conversation, you talk, these are the things you look for. But where you're looking for that is perhaps more from one person and perhaps more of a relationship.
The other consideration as well is that like we discussed with Andra, the lifestyle we lead in this industry is a lot of traveling. It's a lot of being here, there, and everywhere, and to find somebody that's going to be okay with that, because at the moment we have COVID. There's been no travel. There's not going to be any travel for say another 6 months. So yeah, great. Let's find a relationship now. But then, how's that actually gonna pan out? I'm not a performer anymore. I'm not going to have to deal with that jealousy. But there's going to be the travel.
Yes, and I think it's interesting to think about, because when Andrew was talking, what I was thinking about is it's about also being a professional, successful woman. Which again, in terms of your roles and kind of the support and the charity, you've built up and grown. It's actually your work does actually need you to travel, and it does need you to be out there and busy and to be independent. And so again, there's that challenge as well, isn't there? In terms of that you may not be having to make the dinner at 5 p.m.
Absolutely not. I eat in restaurants. No. So again, it's usually because I can't cook. But
for the record, Leah makes very, very good cupcakes. so anybody who's got a penchant for cupcakes, I would say Leah makes magnificent ones. But it is. I think it's also being a very, strong, independent woman, isn't it?